Hello guys, welcome to my first-ish video, I guess, of 2025 being home. I've obviously been on holiday for a while and I feel like the new year started, but it didn't really start for me because I was on holidays. So I feel like my new year is starting right now. It's my first Monday being home and I thought what better way to start the week than to sit down and talk through our intentions for 2025. I love the idea around the New Year season, setting new goals, finding that extra bit of motivation, starting fresh. It's just such a nice opportunity to do the things that you perhaps have been putting off or you've just been like, oh, I'll do it next year kind of thing. And for someone like me who's such a type A person, I love having a planner. I love to-do lists. I love knowing exactly what's happening when. Like I love that routine, that structure, working towards things. I love this season of the year. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on is word of the year. Second thing that I want to talk through are my intentions for the year. And I think that's pretty much it. So word of the year, I've never done this before, but I did hear about it on Matt and Britt's podcast, High Scrollers, and they set words of the year and then they reflect on it at the end of the year. And I just thought that that was such a cool thing to do. So I obviously have now implemented that this year. And my word of the year is consistency. I feel like it's really broad and kind of vague, but that's kind of what I've gone with this whole year. I feel like I'm sick of setting unrealistic expectations. I didn't want to set these unrealistic goals and feel like I am setting myself up for failure because often that's what happens. So I was really intentional with the word that I chose. And I feel like consistency is one of those things where like if you have that, that builds discipline, that builds good habits, that builds a healthy lifestyle. It's really just like, I feel like a stepping stone into so many different goals and pathways. So like if I'm consistent with my work routine, I'm going to have a better day at work. If I'm consistent with my meal prep routines, then I'm probably going to have a healthier diet. That's just like the vibe for this year. I feel like I would love to end up at the end of the year having some really good lifestyle routines and habits built up. And I feel like in order to achieve all of that, I need to be consistent. And so that's my reasoning behind picking that as the word of the year. It's not like super fun or exciting, but I feel like it's realistic and achievable. No matter how small or how big, consistency is consistency. If I have green tea 80% of the time in the mornings, that's consistency to me. So that's the word of the year. So the next thing that I was going to talk about are my intentions for the year. So this isn't replacement of, or I guess other, like some people call it New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals and things like that. But I feel like I've labeled all of those things in the past and have always set myself up for failure with them, which is my doing, obviously. But I feel like I have obviously like I've built that sort of negative connotation around those sort of terms. So I've restructured the way that I'm doing they're basically goals. And I'm labeling them as my 2025 intentions or my intentions for the year. So my first intention, I actually need to get them up so that I know what I'm talking about. On a scale of doing it every day, if I can do it 80% of the time, then that is success to me. So that's sort of how I'm measuring it, because I think nothing is sustainably achievable at 100%. It's just not realistic to have that expectation. And I would never want to put myself under that sort of pressure. So 80% is what we're striving for. My first intention is to start my morning strong. So like I said before, it's really vague, it's really broad, it's flexible, it can change throughout the year. My current favorite things or the things that I want to implement, I'm waiting on my CMOS delivery, but once that is in, I would love to be having CMOS each morning. I'd love to have my green tea every morning, which I have been doing since I've been back. I would love to ice roll my face in the mornings and fill out my diary. Filling out my diary makes me feel so settled and so calm, knowing what I want to do for the day, what I have time for. and writing it down just makes it feel so much more achievable for me. And I know in the past I have always made excuses like I don't have time in the day to do things. And a really good example of this last year would have been reading. I would always say, oh, I don't have time to read. I haven't had time to read all week. But the reality of it is I have had the time, I just haven't prioritized it. And I feel like this is a great way to prioritize things, is by like starting your day, filling out your diary, writing that to-do list, knowing exactly what you want to do for the day and ticking things off as you go. And I find that to-do lists are so valuable. I feel so productive when I'm ticking things off. And if by the end of my morning, if I've had my sea moss, if I've had my green tea, if I've ice rolled my face, if I have gotten ready for the day, if I've gone to the gym that morning, I've already ticked off 5 things. That's such a big boost of serotonin, like first thing in the morning. So love that. So my second intention is to exercise 4 times a week. And I've said exercise and I've put it really loosely because obviously exercise preferences change over time. This time last year I was not going to the gym. I have fallen back in love with the gym recently and I do see myself going to the gym for the foreseeable future. But that might change in 6 months' time and I just don't know what will happen. I was a bit of a Pilates queen last year and I loved going to Pilates, but I fell out of love with Pilates at the end of last year. So I feel like my exercise preferences change over time and that's okay. And I picked up pole again at the end of last year and that's something that I really want to work on this year in strengthening. So I have goals around those things, but ultimately if I can get in 4 times a week of exercise, I'll be stoked. The next intention that I've set is to drink water before meals. I feel like this is something that I just haven't really done, and I did write these intentions when I was on holiday, and I just noticed when I'm out of routine I just don't drink water, and that's not okay. So drinking water before meals is a great way to sort of be conscious and like act as a reminder of you should probably drink water, because otherwise, especially I find this especially like when I was on holiday, I would often mistake my thirst for hunger and end up overeating, and then when I drink water afterwards because I'm thirsty after my meal, I feel explosive because I'm so full now, but really I was just thirsty and that space was filled with food instead of water. Hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, this is just like a prompt for myself to be more conscious of my water intake. And I'm great at drinking water at work and like on a regular day, but I want to be that little bit more conscious and like intentional with it. My next intention is to implement daily fruit and reading breaks. And I say daily loosely because I don't actually intend for this to be done every single day. I'm hoping to do this mostly on work days. So I often have struggled, especially last year, I found it really hard to make the switch between work and home. I'm home from work a lot of the days last year. I would find myself either immediately gravitating towards the couch, which made me feel like my day was done and I just wouldn't move from there. Or I would immediately come home, shower, do my skincare, and basically do my nighttime routine as soon as I came home. But then I felt like I was ready to go to bed and didn't want to do anything productive. I built habits that made me feel like my day had ended the second that I got home from work, essentially. And that killed my vibe. And all my weekdays basically felt like write-offs. Like I couldn't do anything. I didn't have time for anything. And this, I feel like, is something that I wanted to implement to sort of break that pattern. And instead of, going straight to the shower or straight to the couch when I get home from work, I want to implement a fruit and reading break. There's no time limit on it. If I only have 5 minutes that day, I only have 5 minutes that day, and that's okay. And some days I won't have time at all, which is also okay. I just want to make more of an effort to break that habit because I see how that sort of led to me feeling unproductive and killing my vibe. That's why I'm sort of bringing this intention in. I want to feel more productive and like I can do things on weeknights without it feeling impossible. And my final intention that I've set is a social sort of one, and one for myself as well. It's to plan monthly dates with literally anyone. I feel like I reflected a lot on last year and ask myself, what did I miss doing last year? And I felt like I missed out on spending quality time with people that I love because I didn't prioritize it. I didn't make enough effort to plan. And also I just feel like I would just spend money on other things. And last year I really battled with online shopping. I had a really, really toxic relationship with it, and I felt like I lost myself and my control when it came to shopping. And that's obviously not something that I want to carry through. It's not a sustainable choice or lifestyle that I want to live. So it was just this endless cycle, and it was just so, yeah, it was really hard. It's not going to be easy, and I'm not going cold turkey. Like, obviously I'll still be shopping, but definitely like dialing it back and regaining some of that control and power with it, and spending more on quality time with others. That would be the goal around this goal, and that's sort of why I've made this my last intention. I feel like a lot of my intentions this year seem really simple when I say it out loud, but I feel like there's a lot more meaning to it than it lets on, which is kind of really, really, really nice. I would love to like reword them and like have a final sort of visual poster or something like that I could like see every morning when I wake up, just to like as a reminder sort of thing. But until I do that, that will do. But yeah, those are my intentions for the year. I hope that all made sort of sense. I love hearing other people's goals, intentions, words of the year. So if you guys have also created some of your own, please leave them below, and I'd love to read and read and find out about you guys. But that's all for this video. If you have any questions or want to know anything else, let me know. But yeah, I feel like that got really personal. I don't think I was ready for that. Anyway, that is all. See you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching if you've made it this far. Bye.